with Steve. Anyway, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us at our leadership or our high-level training that we're doing on Brand in the Spotlight. And I'm super pumped because we have two amazing legends in the house that are joining us all the way from Puerto Rico. And I really have to say that, you know, look, I don't have favourites, but geez, Ellie and Steve are right up there. And, you know, I've known these two people for, I can't believe we've clocked over 2 years. I even got called when we were in Puerto Rico this last time an OG, and that just kind of freaks me out a little bit, but I'll wear the badge. I take it with pride, and I also know it holds a lot of responsibility. So I'm up for that. But guys, I'm not going to hold the floor for any longer than I need to. I really need to invite you to lead into this call because, as I said, I'm so grateful. We have got Ali and Steve Waters in the house, the OG legends, two of the greatest. Like, these guys are just legends in this whole right, like been around Bitcoin, blockchain, who have just been in space since the early days. You know, these guys have been through cycles. They, you know, the noise, the evolution of the whole era. These guys were around in the early days, like right from the beginning of Gala and really with Connect. And I know that the brand that is them is green, and they live and breathe this, and I am so grateful. You know, they've seen how it works. They've been instrumental into being at the forefront of bringing this to the masses, and we're only just getting started, which excites me so much. They don't just talk theory, they actually understand real utility, real positioning, and where this is all heading next. And I really invited them on to share with you all things green, and also to kind of give you a little bit of a backstory and like really lean in, guys, because if you want insight from people who've been there from the beginning, lean in and listen, because we have in the house two amazing legends that I just absolutely love. And I am going to hand over to Ellie because I know that disclaimers are a big part of our community. And I asked Ellie to start with the green disclaimers because they're slightly different, but the same as the general Connect. So I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to hand over to two amazing people that I love. My heart is full with them, and they're dialing in from Puerto Rico right now. So I just wanted to say the biggest thank you for taking time out to be with us. Appreciate you both so much.
Lisa and Jen, thanks for inviting us on this call. We're really excited about, you know, a lot of the big updates that are happening on green. We're going to dive into some of those today. We've got some updates and automations that are happening with PowerPay, and pioneers, like you said, you know, you have been one of those pioneers helping us along the way, and we really do appreciate you. And that's where that badge of honor of becoming an OG, you know, really starts to come into play, is when you're taking that pioneer challenge on, and we appreciate all the hard work and support you guys have been doing. So we're going to dive into this. So one of the reasons why we often start off a call is just to make sure everybody's on the same page. And disclaimers are a big, important part of our culture because we want to make sure everybody understands, you know, again, where we're coming from and where we're going. And so you're welcome to take a screenshot of these or access these through the support site at any time. You just go on to support.setpowerfree.com and you can access those. But just for time's sake, we're going to just cover these summary statements. So this conversation is going to contain forward-looking statements. The reason why is because we often talk about where we've been, where we are, and where we're going. And the reason why is because this is an ever-changing, ever-evolving blockchain project. And it's really unique. It's the first of its kind, you know, that I've come across where the community is in the driver's seat. And we work together in many different ways and shapes and forms. So often we're going to talk a little bit about where we've been. Today we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the evolution of PowerPay and some of these really cool things that we're doing and innovating in the green space. There will be no earnings claims or financial advice that will be given. And the digital rewards, which are called green rewards, are used for utility purposes. And utility is just a fancy word for use cases, right? Like how we can use our green rewards in everyday life. And so we're going to cover a couple of those examples today, and hopefully get anyone that has been wanting to get plugged in with green up to speed and dialed in. Now, always as a best practice, this one's a big one for us. So being a pioneer, like Lisa said, it has this responsibility to it. And when you come in, you always want to do your own research. You want to dive in and look at the details. Because when you get your hands on and your first experience, it's always better than when it's your friend's experience or your friend's friends or so on and so forth, right? You have that different type of connection. It's one of the things that makes our culture and our community so strong. And so we often talk about that quite a bit. And the information today is going to be provided for educational purposes. One of the cool things about what we're doing in this space is that even though, some of us have founded different projects and have dove in as community members, we get to do that alongside you. And so we're going to educate you on our experiences and our history a little bit, just to kind of help, connect some dots along the way. And hopefully you learn something new that you haven't before. And today we're going to also talk a little bit about the nodes and the blockchain infrastructure. And one of the coolest things about our blockchain projects and what makes us stand out is we have also governance in place. Now, this is a very powerful tool. And if you haven't dove into it, I highly encourage you to do your research on this one, because this is actually what makes us, again, stand out from the crowd in the blockchain space. And we believe, honestly, that as we continue to grow and develop, more and more blockchain projects are going to continue to do so. They're going to start looking at what we're doing in this space, how we're pioneering, and start adopting those methods. I mean, honestly, it's pretty cool that even this last couple of months, other blockchain projects are following green on some of the innovative technologies like our green DGF battery. They're starting to see why it's so cool and starting to help implement some of the processes that we're working on. Now, I'm going to turn the time over to my husband, Steve Waters. Oops, sorry, this popped up just a little bit funny, but I'm going to turn that over to him. He's going to tell you a little bit about his background. And just wanted to, again, thank each of you for your participation. If you've been along with the PowerPay journey, we're going to touch on that a little bit further, but Steve's really been here since the beginning, and I feel like it's always best to get it firsthand. So Steve, thanks for jumping on today, and we'll get you going and turn the time over to you.
All right, can you hear me? All right, good. All right, let me turn up my volume. So here we go. All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a quick intro, just a little bit about my background. I think that kind of helps, to understand people a little bit. But I first want to say just a big thanks for all of you showing up, and for you, Lisa, Jen, all of you for putting this together and arranging for us all to jump on this, our link together. So it's so crazy. I was just thinking, just kind of about my life, and maybe you can relate to this, but there's this quote that Steve Jobs did a long time ago at a Stanford graduation, at a university graduation. And he said, "You cannot connect the dots looking forward, only backward." And so kind of have that in mind as we kind of go through today. And I talk a little bit about the history of green and where we are today. So back in, probably like 2014, was like full into my career. I had written a bunch of books, had a successful company, and really was full into my career. And I had written this book and turned it into a course, and had tens of thousands of people around the world that were part of my community, and that's just what I was doing. And that turned into consulting. I work with these two gentlemen. So this guy right here in the pink shirt, his name's Mark Victor Hansen, and you may know of him not by his name, but by the book he wrote, which was called Chicken Soup for the Soul. So he was one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, and he teamed up with another guy who was one of my mentors, which is this other guy named Robert Allen. And they had this goal to write a book called The 1 Minute Millionaire. And they wanted to change the way people thought about creating wealth. They wanted to emphasize enlightened wealth. Because at the time, there was just this idea out there that in order to create wealth, you had to step on other people to get there. And their experience couldn't be further from that truth. Their experience was that wealthy people can be some of the most giving and generous people on the planet. And that wealth is just really a form of energy. And you can do an immense amount of good with it. And so they really wanted to get this idea out there and really try to help shape the narrative that you can give and help people and still achieve an incredible amount of success. And with that success, do a lot of good in the world. And so they had this idea to do something that had never been done before. And so they hit me up because I had gotten really good at, with my book, selling it through the internet. I didn't have a formal publisher. I just had to kind of do it myself. And they loved kind of my approach. And so I was part of an incredible team of individuals. And that's actually where I met my wife, is when I came over there to do this consulting. So the book was really 2-in-1. It was fiction and nonfiction. And their goal was to create a lot of giving in the world. And to do that, they wanted to do something never been done. And so the book is 2-in-1. It's both fiction on the left pages of the book, and it's nonfiction on the right pages of the book. So it's 2 books in one. The left-hand side is all about the nuts and bolts of how you create wealth and how you do it in an enlightened way. The right-hand pages is a story of a real woman, and I actually have met her in person, and they mentored her and taught her these things so she could create wealth for her. She was a single mom living out of her car, had to do incredible things in a short window of time. And so really it's her story of doing these incredible things she had never done before in a short period of time. And in it, just teaching these lessons about giving back. It was incredible. What became a simultaneous New York Times bestseller, both in nonfiction and fiction at the same time. And they generated over $100 million in giving back. So $100 million in charity. So that was through all kinds of forms, whether it was tithing or giving to charitable organizations. They didn't impress on anyone to do any giving to a specific thing, just to give back. And so they tracked that. It was incredible. It was an amazing experience. Well, that led into more consulting. I worked with this other guy named Mark McDonald. He truly was a fitness trainer to the stars. He worked with all kinds of people in Hollywood. Dr. Oz, you've heard of him. He was on the Dr. Oz show for a long time. And he worked with Chelsea Handler and a whole bunch of other people. And that turned into his own TV show that we launched while I was with him. And just an incredible experience. And it was while I was working with Mark McDonald, his TV show, all that I got a phone call. And I couldn't get it. And it went to voicemail. I answered it. And it was one of my best friends from when I was a teenager. And he's like, "Steve, I need you to give me a call. I need to talk to you. Let's catch up." So you guys know how it goes. I picked up the phone. I called him. And it went to voicemail. It literally went back and forth like ping pong for quite a while. Well, after some time, we got together. We met up. And I'm like, "Bro, like, what's going on? What do you got to talk to me about?" And he said, "I got to talk to you about Bitcoin." And I was like, "Really? You want to talk to me about Bitcoin, huh?" So he started unloading on me all about Bitcoin and telling me all about Bitcoin. And I don't know about you, but when I first heard about Bitcoin, I knew nothing about it. It was foreign to me, and it sounded a lot like, I don't know, like Pokemon, you know? And maybe you can relate. If you jump to the next slide, I did one of these as he's telling me about it. I literally, maybe you've seen this meme, but it's the guy from Iron Man. And literally, I just did one of these. I was just like eye rolling. Just like, dude, you got to be kidding me. But as I started listening to it more and more, it actually started making a lot of sense to me. Now, I had a lot of respect for him. And so I just decided, I'm just going to listen, and what can it hurt, right? And so he's like, I'm going to send you some stuff and just read it. And so he just started like blowing me up, sending me text messages, sending me emails. So he sent me this thing. It's called the white paper, and it told me all about Bitcoin. If you want to learn about Bitcoin, go read it. Here's the link. It's really cool. But I started diving into it, and I started learning that a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto created Bitcoin. Now, this guy is Satoshi Nakamoto. You can see it's on his license plate, his license, driver's license. Turns out this is not Satoshi Nakamoto that made Bitcoin. Okay? This is not the Satoshi. It actually turns out, and it's really interesting, if you do a little digging, it's a fun little adventure. Satoshi Nakamoto, turns out it's probably a group of people. And he actually might be one of the people. But these are some of the people they think it is. It's really interesting. But they created Bitcoin. And as I started digging into it, I found out that the first transaction of Bitcoin was for 2 pizzas. The guy sent 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas. And today that'd be, at a high water level mark, it was around a little over $1 billion for 2 pizzas. So I like pizza, but I don't know that I would spend over $1 billion on pizza. So anyways, the crazy thing about Bitcoin I've learned is that it's been declared dead thousands of times over the years since it was first invented. Many, many times. I can't read it. My screen's so small anyways. But when I got started in Bitcoin, you can see it was a little under $500. And I've just been on this roller coaster. I don't know about you. You've probably ridden roller coasters throughout your life, the ups, the downs, you lose your stomach sometimes, you're up high, and it literally is a roller coaster. I've been, on this crazy train for a long time. And sometimes when you're in it, you're zoomed in and it just feels like it's going to the bottom. But then you zoom out, it just keeps going. Anyways, so I've been on this crazy ride, Bitcoin, and it's been fun. Well, what I learned about Bitcoin is we decided to go all in. I decided just to let go of my career and go all in on Bitcoin because I learned that it could be the protocol. It could be the answer to changing the financial world for good. Finally creating a fair system for any and everybody to participate. Like, I didn't know that there are a lot of people in this world that are just stuck in this cycle of poverty. They can't get loans because they can't get bank accounts. Without the loans, they can't go to school. They can't get a better career and have the hope of lifting their family, their community, and others out of poverty. And so we went all in on Bitcoin. He'd already been doing Bitcoin mining and crypto mining, and he kind of pulled me in, and I was happy to join. And so these are 2 of my childhood best friends, and we went all in on Bitcoin and crypto and just grew it. Well, as Bitcoin started to gain momentum and gain popularity, little articles started to pop up like this one that were a little negative, right? It's using a lot of energy and it's a problem. And then you could see on the next article that popped up, it's using more energy than gold, right? And then you jump to the next one. And then there came this, the lobbyists were trying to get the politicians to make new laws, to make it illegal and to outlaw it. And we're like, oh no, this incredible technology that could change the world is, could be stopped dead in its tracks. And so out of that, it forced us to come up with some creative solutions. And so my good friend, he was up at Sundance. Sundance is a resort in Utah. It's at the base of one of the tallest mountains in Utah. And it used to be the home of the Native American Indians. And it was named after a sacred thing they did called a sun dance. And they do the sun dance as a way to connect with source, to connect with a higher power, to find a vision, to find a path, to seek guidance and inspiration. Anyway, so happened to be he was up there just hanging out and sitting on a bench. And this idea came to him of what we could do. In the midst of this threat of this Bitcoin and crypto mining being shut down and all these people that were participating, came this idea. And this idea is, well, if we could use free energy, they couldn't shut us down. They couldn't stop us, right? The laws wouldn't apply if the sun was coming from God or from the earth or from the ocean or from the wind. It couldn't be stopped. And so that changed our trajectory. It changed our path. And so out of that, we started messing around with software. He invited in some old friends. I invited in some people, some programmers, and we just started experimenting with coding and coming up with a protocol using the same technology of Bitcoin to use free energy and to track it. And so if you jump to the next slide, this is just a quick video of Sundance. It's really beautiful. It's incredible. If you get a chance, you should come here and see it. This is literally almost a year ago, exactly, at the height of spring. Everything's popping, beautiful, incredible place to be. And that's the bench, truly, where he had these ideas. And anyway, so jumping on to the next slide here, those ideas turned into a patent that was granted. And you can read all about it. You can take a screenshot and look it up. But this patent was granted, and it is all about how we could use free energy to power blockchain and provide a path that this incredible technology couldn't be stopped, right? Anyway, so we used that, and that became the foundation of what we now call the Green Blockchain Project. And the Green Blockchain Project used renewable and novel forms of energy to power blockchain, to power Bitcoin. And so we started filling up shipping containers with these green boxes and these green miners and powering blockchain. We started buying all types of power. We did every power you could think of, and we expanded, and because of this became one of the largest Bitcoin miners in the Americas, which was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was wild. Anyways, so, but the cool thing that came out of it was this technology. And as I started to dig into energy, I learned that Boston University did a big study. They wanted to find out the correlation of energy and the quality of the life that we live. Like, what is that? What does that mean? And so they did this big study, and they put it into some computers, and they created some charts, and this is what they found. So on the one side of the screen, going from the bottom to the top, that's quality of life. So at the bottom, that means you're living the lowest quality of life. At the top, that means you're thriving, you're living your best life. And from left to right, that represents the amount of energy that you consume. And they just took all the countries and they put them on this chart. So the bottom left, they're living a low quality of life because they have little access and little energy consumption. On the top right-hand corner, that is high quality of life using lots of energy. So what they learned is that the more energy that you use, the higher quality of life you live. That means it means you're going to live longer, you're going to have a better education, you're going to earn more, and all of that correlates to how much energy you have access to and you use. So really what we can learn from this is that energy can really upgrade humanity's quality of life. And it should be one of the first things that we should try to do. If we want to improve the world around us, help people around us, let's get them energy, right? Okay. So now typically you looked at that, if you looked at that list, you'd see a lot of that was just people in third world countries, right? And so it's easy for many of us that live in first world countries just be like, that's their problem, not my problem. I have plenty of light. I'm good, right? Well, recently MIT, they're a really fancy place. Really smart people go there. They recently, like literally within just a couple months ago, discovered that over here in the Americas, over 100 million Americans are now qualified as energy poor. So that's crazy to me. That really got my attention. I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? And if you go to the next slide, what's happening is families are being forced to choose. They're being forced to choose between, heat or they're being choice or food, medicine or power. And really neither are a choice, right? Because in the middle of winter, you got to have heat. And, you know, some people, they don't have a choice. They can't go off their medication. It literally means living or not living. So they're really not choices. So last year, they discovered that 1 in 3 American households are classified as energy poor. That means they skipped basic necessities like eating and, you know, just to pay their energy bills. And this isn't just limited to here in America. It's all over the world, especially in Australia. 60 Minutes did a huge piece on this. You can look it up on YouTube. But, you know, this isn't, you know, about not having energy or living in the dark, right? This is really financial suffocation. And it's getting worse, and it's getting worse fast. So maybe you've seen some of these headlines. AI data centers are sending power bills soaring. In fact, up as much as 267% in many areas.
How big is the new data center campus they're building in the Texas Panhandle? It's the biggest one in the world. It will use as much power as all of the homes in the entire state of Texas combined times 2. It will use more power than 38 states. Not combined, but it will use more power than all of the power used in any one of 38 different states. The data center campus portion of it is, I believe, 18 million square feet. It will sit on a piece of ground that is 5 square miles. So you can drive by it for 5 miles, make a right turn and drive by it for another 5 miles. That's pretty big. You know what the wild part is? The company building it has no knowledge of data centers. Nope, not in the data center, but Project Matador. Look it up. Thanks.
Crazy. My friend Trevor sent that to me, and I was just like, wow, that is insane. That is huge. And, you know, we're experiencing this huge explosion, right, of data centers that are just popping up everywhere. And I don't think it's a bad thing. It's a good thing, right? It can help our lives, and AI and blockchain and data can truly improve our lives. And it is. It's incredible the things that are happening. But it's not limited just to here in the United States. Look at this in California last year, over 7 rate increases in a 12-month period. And those are rolling out right now in 2026. 7 rate increases over the next 12 months in California. Now it's barely 2026, and they're already talking about more rate increases for 2027. They haven't even finished rolling out the rate increases for 2026. And it's not just in California, it's in New York, it's in Florida. Look at this, historical rate increases, literally, this down in Florida. And it's not just in the US. You guys have probably seen it in Australia too, right? So this is in Sydney. You guys are feeling it too. And it's not just in Australia. It's in Europe. It's in Britain. It's literally all over the planet. AI and data centers are causing people's power bills to go up. And check this out. So a single AI prompt, so just doing a quick search on AI on ChatGPT, can consume enough electricity to power a light bulb for 1 hour. That's crazy to think about. And now here's the crazy things. I'm using AI most of the day. You probably can relate, right? Not using AI, it's just not an option, right? I have to do it to stay competitive and to do the work that I do. And so we have to find a creative solution. So AI's demand for power is growing faster than they can actually provide energy. And so they're doing things, lawmakers and politicians, they're trying to do stuff to solve it. They're fast tracking new power plants faster than they have ever before. But here's the thing about that. Here's one, yep. It's not gonna be enough, truly. So A utility scale solar, build out takes 1 to 2 years for it to even be ready to add electricity to the grid. Okay, 1 to 2 years from the time it starts. Clean burning coal, which makes up the majority of the energy around the planet, that takes 3 to 5 years for them to add a new one to the grid. And nuclear takes 8 to 10 years. So the demand of AI and our ability to provide power just can't keep up fast enough. And so as a result, power bills are just going to keep climbing. But here's the thing, our energy system is like it was built in 1925. It's centralized, it's analog, and it's decaying fast. It needs a massive upgrade. And layered on top of it are executives and shareholders and traders, and they're all designed and engineered to extract value out of it and not return it. So this system doesn't scale human potential. It extracts it. And the question isn't if it breaks. The question is, who owns what comes next? So energy is decentralizing, whether the utility companies like it or not. And the only unanswered question is whether the ownership is going to stay centralized or it moves back to us, the people. So here's the thing. Green isn't a company. It isn't a stock, and it's not built on hype. It's infrastructure, and it's owned by the people who use it. The green blockchain is powered by everyday people like Lisa and like Jen and like Allie, myself, and many of you, running these green nodes. And they secure the network. They verify transactions and keep everything transparent. No salaries, no boardrooms, no shareholders extracting or siphoning value. But here's the key distinction that I really want to hone in on. Green isn't valuable because people trade it. It's valuable because people use it. And as long as people want lower power bills, the system requires green, creating continuous real-world demand driven by utility. So the green blockchain is community owned and powered by a vibrant node network run by all of you or many of you, community members. Worldwide, more nodes than Bitcoin. Take that in, that's pretty incredible, right? So the green vision is real simple. Set power free. So our community is turning this into a reality. Recently, we did something that big energy never is gonna do. We launched a brand new program and it's helping people save on their power bills. And it's called PowerPay. If you're using PowerPay, just go ahead and say me in the chat. All right, yeah, there you go. Or show some hearts, yeah. So PowerPay is an innovative program that unlocks savings on your monthly power bill. So with the PowerPay program, green pays your power bill. And you save anywhere from 10% to 100%, up to $250 every single month. So let me show you how it works. All right, 3 simple steps. Step 1, you choose your savings tier. So there's four to choose from. Step 2, you just simply pay with green. And then step 3, you're gonna save with green. All right, so really simple. So it's like a rebate, but for your power bill. So let me give you an example. And I'm gonna show you how easy it is to save $250 a month on my power bill, all right? First, I sign in and I answer a few questions and then I upload my power bill. Then I send $250 in green tokens, which is the amount of my power bill, to PowerPay. It's literally as easy as sending an email. All right. Then I just sit back and let PowerPay handle the rest. It's pretty easy. So this is what happens. My green payment is received. My power payment is paid. And my full PowerPay NFT is confirmed. And my green rebate is sent to my wallet. I just paid $250 on my power bill and scored 100% discount. That's $250 in green tokens sent to my wallet. It's pretty cool. This is a game changer. It really is. That big energy fears. So we're building the future we were told was impossible. Not tomorrow, today. So we've been in beta. And during this beta phase of PowerPay, over 1,000 power bills worldwide have been paid. And we were running some numbers, and that's in over 7 countries. We just added Cyprus and New Zealand, and Ali just whispered to me, we're actually at 9, so I need to update my slide already. So this is a PowerPay app that we're in alpha that we're rolling out. And we're ready to expand with this new app. Yeah, Ali's going to go ahead and take her. So I'm going to mute my thing so we don't get some feedback. Hold on. All right.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that, guys. So one of the things that we just wanted to show you is walking through this new PowerPay app. So one of the things that our community has been doing together, everybody that's been paying their power bills, we've been doing all sorts of things. We've been collecting all of these power bills for this last year, and it's pretty cool because now we have a lot of the automations in place. And one of the reasons why we do this, why we actually work in beta, is because this is a community-owned project, right? We want to be community-driven and community resourceful. And so one of the things that we do is we actually build everything together. And we do this firsthand because if you were actually to go out and build something like this firsthand, you'd spend a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of resources to go out and build something that you may or may not know if your customers actually will use or how they're going to use it. And so one of the things that we do in our community is we often do what's called beta testing or alpha testing. We get involved with the community members firsthand, and we go through and outline the program and then develop our products and services firsthand with the community. This is one of the reasons why we call this program, we own this, is because we actually do. We drive it in many different ways. What's really cool is all the people that have been participating in the PowerPay program and paying their power bill through the green blockchain process with PowerPay is we've been gathering this information and making it smart. Well, what's recently been a huge game changer is we just actually passed a vote in February. So that was on Valentine's Day here on February 14th in the States. And what's really cool is that we've actually integrated it with Blockbot. And so for those of you that are familiar with Blockbot, obviously it's a very specialized AI tool, right? Well, what the heck do we do with Blockbot? How is this going to work? And how does this actually come to fruition of us owning our own data? Well, one of the things that's very important for us is to start realizing where our data is going and how it's actually being managed. And so one of the things that we started with is PowerPay. So a lot of people actually haven't dove into their power bills probably in a while. Like, I don't know about you, but when I get my power bill, I typically just get it out of the mail. I see how much is due, and then I pay it, and it's not something I really look forward to. And what's really actually been a game changer on this is it's kind of interesting, right? Like, as a team, as a community, it was pretty life-changing for a lot of us that have been waiting for this program and helping develop. Because for the first time in my entire life, when I got my power bill and I actually went through the process, I got excited about it because it was actually something that I didn't have to look forward and just, go through it, just pay the bill and move on with my life. What it did is it actually started waking me up, and it started making me realize how the world was changing. And what's also really cool is it got me excited, not only just to pay my power bill, but also how I was helping people all over the world. And it was pretty cool when we started going through it. Everyone started having this like realization of like, what if you could look forward to getting a bill in the mail? What if you could actually help others save? And this has been kind of, again, a really cool project as we've innovated this. And what this has also done for us is it's also turned our data on its head. And when you go through this, you'll actually see all different types of information. And so again, this is in alpha testing, so it's not quite all the way ready for this, but our people are using this and looking at, some of the details. And you can see actually here, and again, the formatting needs to be changed here, but the actual electricity cost for this bill was only $73.70. And this bill total was $250. Well, this is what's been happening in the alpha testing. People are starting to put 2 and 2 together. Wait, my electrical bill was only $73.70, but my whole bill was $250. Where is the rest of that going? How is that actually being utilized, right? This is really causing, again, that education moment and that aha moment as we continue to pioneer on ways that we can optimize and help. Now, we don't have to go after, again, big power companies or anything along those lines. They're looking on how to save their customers. They're looking how to make more efficiencies and how to really optimize and streamline their processes, right? Because the system and the grid are very outdated. And what's really cool about PowerPay and the power of the green blockchain is we can be that middle layer between everyday people like us that have our power bills and our consumers, right? And the power companies themselves. Really what we're doing with the PowerPay program is creating a technology layer where we can connect together and start to look at our data differently. We can upgrade the system. So instead of them using paper files and old, outdated systems, we can help create more innovative solutions where there's trust and transparency, both on the power side and the consumer side. Because right now, if you were to dig into your power bill, this creates a little bit of distrust with your power provider, right? Well, what if we could start analyzing that data to see really where the money is flowing for your bill, where we can really create optimizations for, again, both sides? Because maybe they do, as you can see in the headlines, AI is really creating a demand for power. So they may take all of those costs and roll it into building a new power plant, building, new infrastructure and things along those lines. But what if we could change that system? That's really what people are starting to realize, and as they're diving into PowerPay. Now, this system is pretty cool because what you can actually do is you can come in and upload your power bill, and Blockbot actually does all the hard work for you. So I'm not going to go through all of the details because I don't know if I actually have an updated power bill. But what we'd love to do is anybody that wants to test this that's actually in PowerPay, let us know. We'll get you added to the alpha testing and you can walk through this process. But just to give you an idea, this process typically takes, on average, if you're not blockchain savvy, right, about 15 to 20 minutes to walk through, just to kind of go through. What this new application is doing is it literally takes you about 5 minutes or less to kind of go through this process, because Blockbot is doing most of the work for you. I don't know about you, but Lisa, when she was first talking, she's like, this is a really foreign topic. It was really a lot of technical details, and it was a lot to learn. And she's been pioneering with the best of us. She's been learning and doing her research and diving in. But what's really cool is she's also helping it pave the way for people in the future. And she's been one of those pioneers that's been helping build this system just by paying her power bill and going through and giving feedback on what she's experiencing as she goes through this. And what's pretty cool is she helped us build this system. And so now what we can do is, instead of having people go through what she went through or what I went through or what Steve did, we can help optimize that so that we no longer have to explain how the microwave works. We just get to, type a few buttons, do a few things, and experience the hot pizza that comes out of it. And that same concept here with PowerPay is that this is where we see, again, when Steve said we're ready to go to the next level, this is where our community has come together and really built out this technology so that we can scale this and go to the world. And so obviously we're already global, which is pretty cool. We have over 6,000 providers that we can plug into this to optimize the system even further. And obviously this is, again, not perfect, but we're going to continue to build that technology. Just to give you an idea, when I first got into the space, and I was, if not the first, one of the very first people to actually pay my power bill with Green years ago. And that took me about 4.5 hours to figure that out. And I was fairly tech savvy and I had some blockchain experience already with that. And so to see that type of evolution that we've come from, to really take this new technology that's going to be used as a backbone and now have a 5-minute or less process, that's some of the things that we do on the Green blockchain. We're known for pioneering, we're known for setting standards, and we're known for challenging the status quo. We're people that believe that sometimes, again, if you turn the traditional world on its head, that we can start doing things better. We can start empowering users, and we can really create more optimization and when we bring people together. And that's one of the things that we're very passionate about in this particular project. And we're really excited to be collaborating with like-minded projects that see how we can really truly bring a lot of different things together to even make this better. I mean, even like with Rattly, right? We're here on Marlink, and the different, systems and tools that we've been using. It's pretty cool that this is a community-owned project, and you can start using these types of tools. Well, PowerPay is doing the exact same thing, just in a little bit different way. But this is really where, again, people are going through, and if you want to be part of the alpha testing and walk through this literally takes 5 minutes. You upload a file. You can see I have Blockbot there, but you can actually just go through that process and experience it yourself. And we are finalizing some testing in alpha for the next couple of days, because like you see here, we have just a few little things to clean up and to streamline. But you can start to see, again, a lot of this different details. What's cool is you can start to see your energies, savings, and your cost and your consumption from different viewpoints. And the reason why this matters is because we have a bigger goal of setting power free. And setting power free means many different things to many different people. But one of the things that we're helping towards our mission and driving towards that is empowering users and educating them on their power bills in the space and helping them save in an innovative solution. And so as we use our digital rewards, a lot of people in the blockchain space, it's kind of funny because we talk about different things, right? And Jen pointed this out a little bit earlier. So I'm just going to kind of, connect some of those dots that Steve was talking about. A lot of people think, oh my gosh, I need to hodl my rewards. I can't do anything with it. I need to be able to just wait. And a lot of people in the blockchain space have this idea of a pump and dump type of mentality. And really what we're doing is we're challenging that status quo. We're saying, no, use those rewards for everyday things. Just like you can your Sky Miles on, your different applications, you can get free flights and other types of services. Just like Steve pointed out with the Bitcoin pizza transaction, if people didn't actually use those rewards, it wouldn't create the innovation and the technology and the future of today that we have. And so this is one of the things that, again, our community is challenging the status quo. We've been around, we've seen different things. We've been in many different projects. We've supported, again, projects that were the #1 in the world. And we helped create that innovation and that technology firsthand. And we didn't do that by sitting there waiting and hoping something would happen. We took action and helped drive that innovation and that pioneering mentality in this space. And we as believers, in this space are, again, looking at how this world is changing. Because really, if you start to Google AI, you start to Google blockchain, it's just popping up more and more and more. And you can either sit on the sidelines and be afraid of the technology, or you can be one of those people that starts to look at it, takes a chance, starts doing their research and getting that experience. And we're going to keep making this simpler and simpler every day. And so this is just one of the ways that we're doing that. Again, this is not going to be super hard always, right? We're in this transition phase of kind of making it easier to use the microwave, so to speak. And so that's one of the things that we're focused on. We have other types of products and services that help support the green blockchain because it creates more innovation like this. So one of the things that we have as pioneers used is what's called the DGF battery. So you may or may not have heard that depending on what projects you support, but a DGF battery is really important. The reason why is PowerPay actually would not be possible without a DGF battery. Why that is because community members saw a better future years ago, and they contributed some of the rewards to be able to help pioneer programs like PowerPay, because that rebate program comes from the battery. And so we want to be able to get more people on this project. We know a lot of you have been involved with the blockchain space for a while now, so we don't want to necessarily go through all of those details, but we want to start to challenge some of the things that you may or may not understand fully, and to really start diving in and doing your research more, because this is where the future becomes more possible. You know, a lot of times there's this really cool quote where if you plant a seed today, you won't be the person sitting in the shade tomorrow. And it's pretty crazy because when you start to think about it, that's what we're doing here in this space, is we're planting those little seeds that are going to grow into something that we can't even fathom right now. We're changing how innovation and technology is being done. And what's really cool is it's in the hands of the people, not the few. And oh, there was some hearts going there. But you know, this is really where we're changing kind of this innovation and technology, and it starts in many different ways. You can be a node owner. The node owner is the backbone of the node network that makes the blockchain run. You can power Blockbot. Blockbot is a very key component. As you can see here in PowerPay, like all of that AI automations and making it so easy that all I do is press a button and it reads my power bill instead of me typing it out, having to read the details, going back through all my information. It's more convenient for my life. It helps me actually go quicker. And so, you know, as we continue to integrate those sorry about that.
Oh, I think we just lost. Oh,
really,
you're back. There you are.
With this is something that's new and more powerful. And so we're continuing this innovation more and more. And we are going to, again, empower people to look at everyday life a little bit differently. And as we come together, one of the things that I often say, my husband like laughs at me every time, but one of the cool things about the community is that it takes the entire community to do this. We each are great at different things. And so if we, you know, there's a saying here in the United States, I'm not sure if it's as familiar in Australia, but it's typically known as it takes a village to raise a child, right? It takes the grandmothers, the grandfathers, and everybody that influences that child's life to make that child who they are. Well, for a blockchain, it takes the entire community to really raise it and become what we need it to be. And so we appreciate everybody's support. And I would encourage you that if you haven't checked it out, or if you're just getting into the blockchain space, to really keep diving and educating yourself, because it will get easier and easier. And a lot of people on this call, I'm seeing even Leanne and Lisa and so many people here that have told me themselves in the very beginning, I don't know how I would ever do this. And they have. They have gone through and they've learned this, and they're learning this new world that we're living in. And what's really cool is they're stepping up to influence the world that we live in and to really make that difference. And so I just want to thank you guys all for those of you that have been helping drive that forward. We really appreciate you helping support this project. But that's who we are in this community, is we're the ones that roll up our sleeves and aren't afraid to get stuff done, because we're pioneering to make a better future. And so I'm going to turn the time over to Steve. I know we're just about time there.
Right on. Good job, Alex. Yeah, so we're just about here at the end. And what I'd really challenge you to do is, if you like this idea of the green blockchain and setting power free and helping people, this is an incredible project, because the PowerPay program is something that can make a real tangible, positive impact on people's lives. People are literally saving up to $250 a month on their power bill. That translates into an extra $250 in their bank account using PowerPay. And that can add up to a lot. When you start, adding it up month after month, that can turn into a significant amount of savings, which could mean braces for your teenager. That could mean helping out with college. That could mean more dates with your loved ones. That could be more vacations, eating a little better. I mean, honestly, you can do so much with a little extra, in your account because of PowerPay. So if you're not using PowerPay, or you're curious and like to learn more, then just get with someone that that's doing PowerPay, and they can help you do what's called a free power quote. It's really simple. It's easy. Basically, they'll just plug in the amount of your average power bill, and then they'll show you the different savings that you could get with the PowerPay NFTs and help you kind of get an idea of the type of savings you could get using PowerPay. That's one way you can participate. Another way is you could operate one of these nodes. So a node is just a fancy word in blockchain that just means a computer that does the work for the green blockchain. So every time someone sends green tokens from their wallet to someone else, it takes these nodes to relay it across the network. And for moving that token across the network, they earn transaction fees. So operating these nodes helps to power the network. They also get to help in the governance or voting and have a decision-making power on the project and what we do and what we don't do. So these are just some of the ways that you could participate and help out with this green project and our vision and mission of setting power free. So I'll just go ahead and turn it back over to you, Lisa. Maybe you have some questions or some things that you want to say.
That was so good. Thank you so much. And I learned stuff as well. I always get the more that you listen, guys, like seriously what Steve and Ali just shared, the more you lean in, the more that you encourage yourself to dig deep and learn more and educate yourself is so true. And also, Jen popped it in the comments there as well. Action is the key. So it's in the doing that you actually learn more as well. So just like Steve shared, there was an invitation to just like pop your toe in the water if that's where you're at on seeing what the savings could be. And everybody on this call has a Connect account. Go into the shopping cart and just read through on all of the products that are available under the green tab. They give you a really good description of what each of them are for, and really look at where you can save those costs. Because as Ali said, I've been part of the beta phase. I wasn't the first one in Australia. I won't take that from Connie, but I was second in Australia and part of that beta phase. And honestly, guys, the change from when I first started to where we are now on that process and the alpha of what we've just seen on the next step, it's so cool how much we have grown in that space. And as both Steve and Ali said, the feedback is crucial. It's up to us. We are responsible. We own this, and we can only create great things together by really participating. And Ali and Steve, I just wanted to let you know as well, Anna's actually on the call who introduced you into Portugal. So Portugal, you can add that to the flag of locations as well. Because that's happening. Now, we have had some questions in the chat, and if you guys are okay just to go a little bit longer, I want to honour your time, and I know that you've got things going on there as well, so I will ask permission first if you are able to answer a couple of questions.
You bet. Ali's running to get my charger because my battery's getting a little low, so hopefully she gets here back in time.
Oh, no, we can't have green running out of green. That would be great. So hopefully if we don't lose you, but if you come back in, I get that as well. So before we get started though, Steve, I really want to ask a question that I had for you. So where do you think most people are going to underestimate or do actually underestimate green right now? And what are they going to wish they paid attention to in sort of 6 to 12 months from now?
Wow. Well, honestly, I think, a lot of people don't realize, because we just take our power for granted, right? It's just like, oh, it's my power bill. It's not really that exciting, right? But energy is going to become an incredibly important topic, and it is going to affect people more and more as this year goes on. AI is growing at an incredible rate, and it's going to become, it's already being in the news articles here in the US. We're getting ready to go into the election season, and I'm starting to see articles popping up that it is a huge point of contention and a topic of discussion that is near and dear to people's hearts, because they're feeling it. They're feeling that squeeze from their increasing energy bills. And so I think that green, and more specifically the PowerPay program, are going to become a really important and impactful conversation. And so I think that getting involved now and participating in the PowerPay program puts you in a position to be able to understand it and speak to it and how it's impacted you, and put you in a position to really help people that you know and love.
Couldn't agree more, Steve. Couldn't agree more. For me, as an example, as I said, I've now crossed over 12 months. I mean, the reality is that that's been 4,000 Australian dollars that I've saved on our household budget, and that's huge. That's massive. And especially where everybody is right now, that's a big impact. And I definitely, we felt it. It's been kind of cool. To have that and what you can do with that. And then also, just to add on as well, Steve, what was super cool, I was actually able to show a friend of mine how PowerPay, she's a node owner on several of the projects. She's got green too now. And I was before when I was sort of showing her, because she, again, getting her head around the utility, I was actually able to pay her bill for her and show her what it was. And she was like, do you mean you actually just paid with those green token things? Like, it was hilarious. And so it really just to show her, and then what that allowed me to think, and I often talk about this at our gathers when I talk into the Grow project, the green project, Steve, is that, when maybe your neighbour's doing it tough, or maybe there's something going on in the, in your community where you can actually charitable causes, all of those sorts of things, where we can actually go, you know what, how about I just give me a power bill for the next 12 months where you're doing it tough, and I'll look after that for you. And I know that comes from you and Ali and from the green community, that just showed me what was possible with that. And that for me is exactly what Ali alluded to, in that, the vision of green, we saw great things were seen long before all of the evolution of where we are now and what's coming. So yeah, it was really cool. Debs has actually said she's having issues with Atlanta. That's who I use. So I can kind of probably answer that. They're trying to push smart meters over here, guys, and it's anyway. So I just blatantly said no, I'm not doing that. And yeah, we've got to work around with that. And so I still pay my Atlanta bill with green. And it's all talk as well, and we don't know how much truth is in anything, but they're saying that that's going to be enforced very soon, Steve, with smart meters.
Wow. Yeah, things are changing fast.
Yep. Yeah.
Really, and
so just
one thing I want to add that that I didn't mention that I think is important is that PowerPay can also be used. You can choose. You can use it to pay your power bill, or you can use it to pay for your solar payment. So if you have a solar system on your house, then you can use PowerPay to help pay for that solar system. So,
Great.
and the cool thing about that is that can help you to achieve energy independence. So not to be dependent on the power company, to have your own source of power, because, you know, what we learned through the mining experience was, oh my gosh, we could get shut down. Like this incredible Bitcoin technology that could reshape money and finance for the world and give people a chance could be shut down. But if we could get free power or renewable sources of power and we become energy independent, then, you know, these laws, these things, they have no effect on us, and we'll be able to continue, you know, to be able to support Bitcoin and these incredible blockchain projects.
That's fantastic. Great, great information. And thank you for sharing that. I know you mentioned that to me in Puerto Rico, and I had forgotten about that. Thanks for bringing that up again. So Annie has just asked, Ergon Energy accepted. So I know there's lots and lots of different companies, and it's just a matter of uploading the power bill. And I might be speaking out of school here, Steve, but I do know that you're wanting to grow it. So it's like classified as beta if it's not on the list. Is that correct in my assumption or not?
What you do is if you just hop over to support.setpowerfree.com and just create a ticket and upload your power bill, and we'll quickly get back to you and let you know. I have found that most can participate in the PowerPay program. But if you could just go over there, just create a little ticket, upload a copy of your recent power bill, we can get back to you right away and let you know.
And there,
fabulous. Thank you.
There's also a quick link in your connected account. Yeah, under the share section. So if you go onto my Blockbot, here, let me see if I can share on this one. Oh, it's not. Oh, there we go. Let me just share this really quick. If you just go under my Blockbot and then you just go under share. Green is the first project, so it's all the way down here at the bottom if you have all of your different projects selected. But just right down here, there's a bunch of tools that actually help answer those questions for you. So when we have new people coming in, this PowerPay video is really great because it kind of gives you a big vision picture of what's going on and why the PowerPay program exists. You can also come in here and check your address availability to make sure that your provider is supported. So actually, if you click this link right here, you'll pop that up. Let me just paste this into the browser. You can come in and actually check for yourself as well. And if you don't see it on this account, then you can submit. There's also a really cool savings calculator. So if you're talking to people about their power bill, you can actually type in the exact amount of their power bill, and you can come in and see with the 100% savings versus the 50% savings, what your personal savings estimate will look like. And so this is the free power quote that Steve was mentioning, but this goes through all of your initial costs for the NFT, plus your first month of Green Rewards, and how much potential savings that you actually have over this 12-month program. So this is a pretty cool tool because you can see it firsthand how much potential savings that you can have. And then again, right down here, you can also see these are real users, like we've got Lisa here using that, but these are real people in our community that are using PowerPay and have been for quite a while. You can come in here and type in your different providers. So here in the United States, Rocky Mountain Power is a pretty active one here in the West. You can see that somebody's activated this and it's already in beta testing. But what's really cool, Lisa talked about this, you could be the first one to actually turn on PowerPay in your area. And that's like a historical moment. We kind of have bragging rights about that. Like Lisa said, she was one of those people that turned it on, but you can actually come in here and see that real time.
That's very cool. I'm actually going to put a call to action out to people. How about we all each take it on ourselves that we use that tool to show people what they can save to a minimum of 5 people this week. How about we do that? Because honestly, what if we could show people that they could save $4,000 over the next 12 months? Like, that would be super cool, right? And that just, I mean, I get really emotional about that because that is impacting people's lives. Like, really, that is huge difference. And I know that people on this call, that would make a big difference in your own lives. So how about we do that? Why don't we take that on as a community, and that we make that call that we will take the stand for green and share with 5 people to show them what they could save. So I think Anna's got a quick question. If we've got time for just one more, please. It's I bought an NFT to be able to help struggling families. We cannot use it for ourselves as we don't. They don't pay the power bill. They actually share a property with other family members, and that's just the way that they like acreage they share. Anyway. So they bought an NFT and they want to be able to help struggling families. So we wanted to give back. Can I help pay for someone else's monthly bill who's struggling? Can I help for someone else's bill monthly to pay somebody else's bill? So it's simply paying somebody else's bill. Can she do that, please?
So we're actually working on a couple different initiatives with Give and some of the other different programs that we're going to be doing. So yes, that is possible. Today, how you would do that is that if you wanted to help someone else with the PowerPay NFT, you could use your green inside of the Connect shopping cart, and you could go through, or you can use USDT, USDC, or a bank wire, and you can go ahead and purchase the NFT through their account. You would just use your wallet to send those rewards to pay for the NFT. And then if you wanted to also cover their monthly power bill, you just send them green inside of their wallet. So I know we're very familiar with the Give process inside of Connect, right? What's really cool is we are working with Connect to also incorporate green into that program. It's not quite there yet, but you can use that same type of concept to help pay someone's power bill forward. And so there's different ways that you can accomplish that, but we're working on more of a formal program where different people can sign up different community members, and we can do that together as a community too.
Fabulous, that's great. I actually jumped over one question. Someone gets their bill every second.
Sorry, well, one thing also, there's another program coming out called the Battery NFT that will be available. It's a new product and service. That particular NFT will actually help pay for 10 power bills for the PowerPay community as well. So that NFT program is going to be launching soon. That's one of the next initiatives as well. Sorry, thank you for letting me.
You're right. That's wonderful. I love that. Thank you for interrupting me. Appreciate it. So one of the other things that came up earlier was that they get their power bill every second month. So how would that work for them?
So you still get a $250 up to a $250 a month credit. It's just handed on a different billing cycle. So the new app, you can select whether that's a quarterly basis or a bi-monthly, and go through and add that to your account.
Wonderful. Well, I think that that brings us to the end, and I really want to honour your time, Ali and Steve. Appreciate you both so much and everything that you do for our community. I love green, and I will always be an advocate for green, because I just really love the whole concept behind it and the difference that we get to make in the world. I'm so grateful to call both of you my friends, and I just love this whole ecosystem, or decosystem as Madsen would call it, and what it's allowed us to do to bring such amazing people together. So thank you so much for your time. We may do another play, like come back again in a little bit, because I know that it's always evolving and you guys are always thinking outside the box on what more can we do. But thank you. Go and enjoy your time in Puerto Rico with what's going on there, and we will be out advocating and sharing all things green.
All
Thanks,
right. We'll
guys.
see you guys then.
Thanks for having us. So great to see all of you. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Love you. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Jen. Bye.